A relation is a simple word that we are using and seeing every day, but it covers a wide concept. Surprisingly, it is also has math counterpart. This relation of math will surprise you as it is also the relation that we are facing in the day-to-day basis. Relations are important prerequisite when studying functions, which is the focus of general mathematics. But before that, take a look on the objectives for this week and the content of this video. Relation in math is defined as correspondence between two sets. Kung makikita nyo, meron ditong dalawang important words sa definition. Ito ay ang correspondence at sets. Correspondence means connection o pagkakaroon ng links o tulay na magdudugtong sa dalawang bagay. For example, ikaw at ang iyong mga kaibigan. Maaaring naging friends kayo up to this time dahil may mga bagay kayong pinagsasaluhan o kaya may mga bagay kayong pinagkakasunduan o kaya naman parehong kinaayawan. While sets mean collections or groups of objects, sets could be a collection of names, colors. Well, dahil math ang subject natin, it will be mostly collection of numbers. On math, connections are also called rules. These are concepts that comes into the form of operations. Ito yung addition, subtraction, multiplication, at division. For you to fully understand what relations are, let's have an example. Halimbawa, ang isang grupo o collection o set ay tatawagin nating collection of wives. So here, the members of the group of wives are Anna and Micah. Second set or group of husbands whose members are John and Arnold. Let's say Anna's husband is Arnold and John's wife is Micah. So what we have here now is a relation. But in order for us to verify if it is a relation, we have to find the rule that connects set of wife and set of husband. Dahil nga according to definition, dapat ang dalawang sets ay may connection or rule. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta mo lang silang ililink to each other and then tatawagin mo ang relation. Definitely, in order for them to be technically called the husbands and wife, they must be married. So the rule that connects husband to his wife is marriage. So the rule for our example is marriage. Another example. We have here set of numbers x and y. X has members of 5 and 10, while y has members of 20 and 10. 5 is connected to 10 and 10 is to 20. Now, what is the rule that connects the two sets? This example here is mathematical, unlike the first one. Remember that the rule in math are operations. So basically, you will just think on how 5 and 10 will become 10 and 20. You can pause the video while you were thinking. And yes, kailangan mo lang i-times sa 2 ang set of x para maging result yung nasa set of y. Kasi 5 times 2 is 10 and 10 times 2 is 20. So in math, the rule is written on the form of equation. Thus, the rule for this relation is 2x equals y. Here, if we are dealing with mathematical relations, the first set are called domains, while the second set is called range. Domains are set of numbers that is being manipulated on math. Ang mga number na to ay pwede mong piliin. Depende na lang kung may mga boundaries or limits na binibigay ang isang equation. So later on, malalaman ninyo kung ano-ano ang mga limits na yan. Range is a set of numbers that resulted from manipulating domain. Ang mga number na ito ay kalalabasan kapag ginamit mo ang bawat domain sa mga rules or equations ng isang relation. Let's say we used 7 instead of 5 or 10. So by using the rule given above, we can simply say that the result will become 14. Since 7 ang ginamit natin na x, we manipulated it. We had chosen it, then it is called a domain. Now, upon solving, we arrived something in result which is 14, which is called the range. Because of this idea, relation becomes fundamental when it comes to math. Fundamental means basic or starting point. Relation becomes the starting point when studying math. Kagaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, ang relations ay wide ang concept dahil ang relations ay ang mismong buong mathematics. Relations are being illustrated into different forms. The first one is mapping. Mapping uses figures to illustrate relations. For example, here we have an input or domain and output or range. Ang dalawang set na ito ay pinaghihiwalay ng mga shapes or figures at pinagdudugtong naman ng mga arrows. By following the arrows, we can see that 2 is connected to both 20 and 40. 4 is also connected to 40 and 3 is connected to 30. Another way of writing relations is by ordered pairs. Ordered pairs are names of points. Alam kong na-encounter nyo na to during grade 7 math, but for the sake of review, an ordered pair looks like this. The first number is called x-coordinate, while the second number is y-coordinate. Now, here's an example na to, makikita nyo na ang 2 ay connected sa 8. Definitely, kung sinong mga numbers ang magkakasama sa isang ordered pair, ay sila ring connected sa isa't isa. The third way of writing relations is by the use of the rule itself or the equation. This way of writing is very mathematical as it is using math symbols and especially the equal sign. Lastly, relations can also be written as graph. Graphs involve Cartesian plane. It has two axes called y-axis and x-axis. Every graph shows how a relation behaves. Makikita nyo rin dito kung papaano gumagalaw ang isang relationship sa math. Halimbawa na lamang ng graph na ito, na umuusad o gumagalaw sa iba't ibang aspeto. Graphs are also used to translate solutions into a describable knowledge. Mula sa mga solutions ng math, ang graph ang nagsisilbing tagapagpaliwanag ng mga nangyayari sa isang relation. Makikita ang mga graph sa iba't ibang aspects sa daily life. You can see it on how doctors describe heart rate. You can also see the graphs on building economy or even on buildings and structures. Relation also comes in different types. The first type is called one-to-one relation. As its name suggests, it only means that in every input, there's only one output. Malalaman natin one-to-one ang isang relation sa pamamagitan ng mga palatandaan kada isang illustration. One-to-one on mapping diagram. There should be no two or more arrows coming from X towards Y. Ibig sabihin, may isang arrow lang na manggagaling sa bawat X at isang arrow lang din ang natatanggap ng bawat isang Y. For example, as you can see on the second example, two arrows were drawn from the X, so it is not considered to be one-to-one. For ordered pairs, it is considered one-to-one if no X and Y was repeated. Ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng maulit ang kahit isang X or Y sa mga ordered pairs. Look at the example. Here on our example, we can clearly see that the given on the right has its X repeated, which is 5. That's why it is not considered one-to-one. One-to-one relation is found on equations by just looking at the equations with no exponents on X and Y. Kapag naka-equations, dapat wala kang makikitang exponent sa lahat ng X at sa lahat ng Y. Well, basically, meron itong exponent kundi ang 1, pero hindi na kasi ito sinusulat sa math. Look at the example. The second equation has exponents on X and Y, which is 2 and 5 respectively. That is why it is not considered one-to-one, unlike the first example with no seen exponents on X and Y. Lastly, we can say that a graph is one-to-one if it passes the so-called vertical line test and horizontal line test. Vertical line test, or VLT, is a test used for graph just by drawing vertical lines through the graph and check how many intersections was made. Horizontal line test, on the other hand, has same mechanisms on what vertical line tests have, but only drawing horizontal lines. The graph can pass the test if there's only one intersection could be seen wherever you draw the line. Ibig sabihin, kahit saan ka mag-drawing ng vertical line or horizontal line sa isang graph, ay isang intersection lang ang makikita. Take a look at the graphs here. The first one passed both vertical line and horizontal line test. Because as you can see, anywhere on the graph, there's only one intersection made. Note that the intersection we are looking for is the intersection of the graph and the line hindi intersection ng both tests. For you to draw easier conclusions when doing line tests, you can test them separately. Test mo muna yung graph gamit ang vertical lines, tapos saka mo i-identify if passed or failed. Then burahin mo, saka mo naman i-test gamit ang horizontal lines. Another type of relation is one-to-many. From the name itself, it means 1x yields too many y. We can say that it is one-to-many in mapping if there's two or more arrows coming from x towards different y. Dapat may higit sa dalawang arrow ang manggagaling sa isang x papunta sa magkaibang y. So dito hindi pa rin tumatanggap ang isang y ng maraming arrows. On this example, the first is one-to-many. As you can see, 5 goes to 8 and also 5 goes to 9. So that's 1x, which is 5, to many y, which are 8 and 9. One-to-many can be seen on ordered pairs if x is repeating but not y. Here, the first example is one-to-many because there is a repeated x which is 5 but no repeating y. The other example is not one-to-many because there is a repeating x which is 6 and also repeating y which is 8. For graph, malalaman nating one-to-many siya kapag ito ay pumasa sa HLT o horizontal line test at failed naman sa VLT or vertical line test. Pansining mabuti ang mga graph. Ang graph sa kaliwa ay pumasa sa HLT. Kung mapapansin, ang yellow line, kahit saan mo i-drawing, ay isang point lang sa graph ang tatamaan. Samantala, failed naman ito sa VLT dahil kung papansinin ang green lines, tatama ito sa dalawang points sa graph. On equations, makikita ang one-to-many kapag may exponent ang y at wala namang exponent ang x. The third type of relation is many-to-one. Many inputs could result to one output only. This type is just the reverse of one-to-many relations. So definitely, all properties of many-to-one relations will only be the other way around of one-to-many. So ito ang mga palatandaan ng many-to-one relation. Kung mapapansin ninyo, binaliktad lang lahat ng mayroon ang many-to-one para maging one-to-many, or binaliktad lang ang lahat ng mayroon ang one-to-many para maging many-to-one. The last type of relation is called many-to-many. So the name suggests that this means that many inputs can result to many outputs. For this type, you just need to combine one-to-many and many-to-one to list down all of its properties. Check them out.